Little darling, it's been a long and lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since you've been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles are returning to your faces. Little darling, it seems like years since you've been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. I said, sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, sun, 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 let it shine. Little darling, I feel like the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since you've been here. Oh, here comes the sun. Oh, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Oh, here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. I said sun, 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 here it comes. Oh, yeah, sun, 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 let it shine. Little darling, little darlings, all of you little darlings, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right.
Rachel. Good morning and welcome to Unity on Greenville, where we practice a positive path for spiritual living. It's really great to see all you folks here in the sanctuary today, and it's good to see people coming back. Thank you to those that are joining us online and those that will watch during the week. Slide's not forwarding. We have some announcements for information for the week, and Sandra De La Cruz is going to come share some announcements with us.
Thank you, Wesley. Good morning, Unity on Greenville. It's so nice to be here and share with you some wonderful information. As with our affirmation that we read every Sunday, we always say, read it with gusto, that we are seeking the right and perfect minister who knows the truth to Unity principles. I will now share the wonderful and joyful status of where we are in this process. Let's begin by thanking the members of the search team committee for their excellent work in conducting the first interviews with all applicants who applied for our minister position. Let's give them a round of applause. We'd like to say thank you for our search committee chair, L.D. Carter. Thank you to the members of the search committee, Lisa Reddy, Mark Titus, John Shaw, and Donna Kirby. We are so grateful for what you've done to get us through the initial interviews. The search committee forwarded 2 names to the board, and the board will be conducting the second interview of these candidates tomorrow, the first one, and Tuesday, the second one. The next steps in this beautiful process includes allowing our candidates to share their messages with you. As a result, our proposed speaker schedule is changing. On August 21st, Reverend Ann Hickey will be presenting. Her talk title is Community Matters. On August the 28th, Reverend David Howard will be presenting. His talk title is Jerusalem to Jericho. Please know that all of this information will be included in our e-news this week. You, our congregation, will also be providing input to the board with a feedback document that will be provided to you. After Reverend Hickey and Reverend Howard end their service, there will be a short break and then a Q&A session with the candidate. This session will last about 1 hour. Then we will go into a time of quiet prayer as you complete your feedback form. Those who are watching online via streaming will also have an opportunity to provide feedback during the session. The board will take into consideration all of the feedback, and the board will make the final and prayerful decision on who will be our next minister. Reverend Doug, do you have anything to share with your beautiful words on these next 2 weeks?
Good morning, everyone. Wow, here we go, right? It's here. We've been holding the affirmation. Beautiful souls have said yes to Unity on Greenville, and as Sandra so beautifully shared, all the work behind the scenes has been done and is being done. The search team, first interviews, second interviews this week, Monday and Tuesday, and then here they come. We have worked to get their flights and their hotels, so they will actually be here, as she said, Reverend Ann Hickey next Sunday, and the following Reverend David Howard. This is a beautiful time of joining for a community. A new era is emerging, so be present, be here, listen with your heart, and as she said, the feedback forms are there. That gives the board an opportunity to look at all the material from the search team to the board to your feedback to ultimately make that decision. But what I know is enter this not in a time of interviewing from the intellect, but from feeling from your heart, as if you are meeting your next senior minister. It's a beautiful time and a beautiful opportunity for this community, and I'm excited for all of you where you're going next. So I hope you'll give everyone a round of applause that's put so much effort into this and get excited about next Sunday and the one after.
Thank you, Reverend Doug. So as we move forward, we have on the screen, we have 3 new ways to donate. If you want to continue to support our ministry, it's very much appreciated. The latest one is on the middle of the slide. It's the text to give, which has become very popular. A lot of people are liking that. It's easy, and we appreciate your donations. With that, we want to move to our offering blessing so that we can bless those offerings that we have already received and those that are yet to come and on their way. If you'll recite with me on the screen. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. Thank you. Next, we have the daily word for Sunday, August 14th. The word of the day is holy, and the affirmation is, I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. There are certain places I visit where the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches or other houses of worship, shrines, and favorite places in nature. Any destination where I have become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. I remember these words from the Prayer for Protection by Unity poet James Dillett Freeman. Wherever I am, God is. The divine presence I know lives within me. It is the true essence of my life and of every life. Today my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. Our scripture for the day is from Genesis 28:16. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, "Surely the Lord is in this place. I did not know it." The word of the day is holy. Would you please recite the affirmation with me on the screen? I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. Thank you. And now to lead us in our morning prayer is Janice Cook, our prayer chaplain.
Thank you. Good morning, Unity on Greenville. In the sanctuary, on Facebook Live, and watching it later, please join me in prayer. So how grateful I am to take this moment to stand before you, to stand with you, knowing that where we are, God is. That holy ground is wherever we stand, knowing that the presence of God, the love of God, the life of God, the joy of God is everywhere, in everyone, in, through, and as our very lives. What a miracle to know that. What a miracle to honor the holy ground that we stand. So I'm so grateful for that, so grateful to have this community standing, holding this truth, taking this truth out into the world, being the light of God everywhere we go, honoring the light of God in every person we meet. What could be better than that? I'm so grateful for the knowing, so grateful for the opportunity to speak these words of truth, knowing that they carry power, that the law says, yes, this is what we know, this is where we stand, this is who we are. I'm grateful for this knowing, so grateful for this service, so grateful for all the things that are happening in this community, so grateful to be a part of the people that say yes to the call of Spirit. I'm so grateful and thankful. So with confidence, I release this word, knowing that this day is unfolding in perfect and divine right order. Know that we are present to the knowing that God is where we are. I release it, allow it to be so, and so it is. Amen.
Let's take a moment to remember the Christ candle, that Christ light that dwells within you, that's always lit, illuminated for you. As we settle into a time of meditation, I invite you to close your eyes, if that's comfortable, adjust your body posture, kind of roll your shoulders back, and take this time to just be still for the day. These pause times, these moments in our lives when we can stop and just be still are so precious. Usually that's when we find Spirit speaks so gently to us. So with a deep breath and gratitude in our hearts, let's begin our time of meditation. Sweet Spirit, thank you. Thank you for the gifts that we are given. Knowing the truth that wherever we are, God is. Not outside, not far and distant, but right here, right now. Within the sweet sanctuary of this space we call Unity on Greenville, but bring it on in deeper to the sweet space of you. That Christ light is alive and well, anointing each breath and each moment of your life. And as we continue into this time of pausing, I just invite you to release any of those thoughts or worries or fears, or maybe it's something on a to-do list for later today. We're going to let that go. Just let it roll by. Go back to breath. Go back to now. Go back to right here. To be still. To know right here, right now, all is well. And the Christ in me greets the Christ in you with great joy. So for a few moments together, we're just going to pause everything and go into a few moments of silence and stillness and allow the busyness to move from our head gently into the heart for a time of silence. And gently begin to notice your breath again. Begin to feel the sweetness of that time of stillness. You may even notice that later on today you may want to take more times to pause and just be still and find that refreshing time just to know that all is well. God is good all the time. And for this time of coming together, for the refreshing moments of stillness, we know that the universe is divinely conspiring to support everything right here, right now. Divine appointment, divine order, divine timing is here. And for this, we give our grateful thanks and our amen.
If I lost all that I had in the blink of an eye, no place left to call my home. If the wind and the rain washed it all away, everything I'd ever known, where would I find myself? What would I do? How would I ever survive? Just as long as I have love in my life, I'll get by. 'Cause as long as I wake up loving you, I know that the answer answer is coming soon. Everything would turn out right if I have love in my life. Oh, something good has always come my way. Even through the heartache makes me wanna stay. Everything will turn out all right, just as long as love is alive. Yeah, in the blink of an eye. You know everything can change. Yeah, in the blink of an eye. For good, there were moments in my life when I believed all hope was lost. Still, love held me high, and I kept up with the good fight. When I was so weak inside, you helped me survive. You were my anchor, never more than an arm's length away, just like a voice in my mind, telling me, child, just believe all things come in good time. Yes, they do, 'cause as long as I wake up loving you, I know that the answer is coming soon. Everything will turn out all right with love there by my side. Oh, something good will always come your way. Even through the heartache, it makes you wanna stay. Everything will turn out all right, just as long as love is alive. You gotta keep it alive. Let it grow in your heart. Oh, everything can change. Everything can change in the blink of an eye. When things are going bad, everything can change tomorrow. When you wake up in the blink of an eye. Oh, as long as you keep love alive, yeah, keep it alive. You got to keep love alive. Ooh, just as long as you keep love alive.
Thank you for your gifts. Thank you for your gifts, Rachel. Oh, before I get rolling, I wore a t-shirt today for the first time, by the way. Unity. You know me, I usually don't wear t-shirts to service, but at the same time, this is not only who we are, but this is a value I believe in. It truly is, and so I have a collection of these Unity shirts. I think they're awesome. So before we get rolling, I just want to make sure everyone is clear. If you have any concerns or worries, as I shared in a community meeting one time, The candidates are coming, but that doesn't mean they start the very next week. So I'm not going anywhere soon. We'll have closure. We'll have time to do those goodbyes. So this is not my last Sunday, in case that was running through your thoughts. We'll work all that out with great detail so everyone will know what's happening. Miracles. The beautiful miracle that's alive every single day, and I think we forget that that's the norm. Have you ever often thought that that's like a special occasion, circumstance that happens? Yet we can really claim miracles every day. That little guy right there, I know him really well. He's changed over the years. But that little picture was really special that my parents took on a beach trip of me quite a number of years ago. And it really centers a lot around what today's talk is about. One thing that I know for sure is that miracles happen. They absolutely do. You've experienced them. I've experienced them. I know them in my own life. And I want you to breathe with me right now for a moment. Just take a nice deep breath and just know the miracle that you are. I know we don't often go about our day thinking, oh, I'm a miracle. But I want you to really be able to affirm that and know that you are. You're right here, right now, in this moment. And here we are together. A couple of birthdays I want to talk about today, and in this moment I'll share that this is my birthday week. But also, one of my beloved favorite teachers, you hear me talk about her quite a bit, Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. Her birthday was August 6th, 1845. So 177 years ago, we're still sharing stories of Myrtle Fillmore. So I say, happy birthday, Myrtle, because I know whatever plane we might be on, we still know the divine appointment that we're all called to be in each other's lives. Have you ever heard a phrase, read a book, watched a movie, listened to a talk or a lesson? Maybe you're flipping through a book and you've read it many times. Maybe you're reading it again, and all of a sudden you pause and you went, that's different, or I'm hearing it different. It's something new for me right now in this moment. Maybe someone said the same thing to you 3 or 4 times, and all of a sudden one day you heard it. And you know what I mean by that? When you hear it? Myrtle Fillmore was that for me in my life. So many years of kind of pondering spiritual practice and truth and really looking at her story, her powerful story, that was a shift in my thinking. And I really got into Myrtle Fillmore, really got into her work. And I would invite you to do the same. And one line or one word or one phrase can shift our thinking completely. And that's what I want to claim is the miracle. When we change our thinking, change our thoughts, we change our mind, we change our reality. The third principle in unity is about co-creating our reality with God. Not an outside force doing something to us, but us participating in the process. We've all experienced a new birth, a birthday. Every time we go, I just heard that. I just realized that. I just got that for the first time. And so every time that happens, I want to invite you to maybe say silently to yourself, or someone shares a story or something they've heard, just look at them and say, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Because there's a birth experience always going on. It's not just that annual event that happens in our life. Life itself is such a gift. That is the gift. But more than that, it's unity. It's how we show up while we're here. Would you agree with that? We've got moments to do something with this time that we're here. And I want to share some stories today, and I haven't shared a lot, but throughout our time together I've shared little bits. And so I want to begin with miracle number 1, and that's when this little guy came into the world. Thursday of last week, August the 11th, 56 years ago, I was born. Miracle. You all have that story. You came into this world at some point. 10 years to the day after my brother was born, my mom entered the hospital on the 9th in great distress. And 2 days later, on the 11th, they finally decided to do a cesarean. And in that emergency procedures to save this child's life, what they found was this small blue baby boy. And all of their attention was focused on bringing this life into really the living. And hours later, my dad, my sister Peggy, my brother Ernie, and some family members were waiting in the waiting room, and they would wait on what was happening. And hours later, a doctor would come out and share, guess what? He's going to be okay. But in that moment, the doctor's face changed. Because as our lives do sometimes, great celebration and great exhale can sometimes be mixed with distress and grief. Because my mom, while all the attention was being given to me, went into a coma and was in an emergency situation and critical at that moment. So while the family is hearing this, he's okay, they're also hearing that they may lose my mom. Family was called in. And they were suddenly thrust into these experiences. And I know we've all been there when we're excited about one thing, but yet something else is standing right there, and we don't really know how to navigate that. And life brings us that all the time. And what do we do with that? And I believe what we do with those situations are miracles at work. Nearly 6 weeks later, 6 weeks, my mom was out of the woods. And at that time, it was a very common practice. The baby didn't leave the hospital without the mom. So I started growing up in the hospital. And there's still a story, my dad talks about it today, and people have talked about it around the hospital for years, that as people would come and go, you know how they look in the window at newborns, they're coming to visit? And they were looking at all these newborns, but they were coming and going, but they would visit, and there was this one that started making eye contact and looking and following them around. They're like, look at that newborn. What's going on with that one? Not knowing that this little guy was 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks old. They became very attached. And I know there was something in that, not only traumatic birth, but also in that nurturing attention in those first 6 weeks that stays with us. Even though I have no memory of it, I know those stories and they're quite precious. Great miracles are here now. I want to invite you just for a moment, just look to someone next to you or turn around and look around the room and see if you can make eye contact and realize this sanctuary is filled with miracles everywhere. Do you know that about yourself? Have you thought about that about yourself, that you are a miracle? I brought with me in my pocket, it was interesting that I'm doing some purging. I do it twice a year, usually around Christmas and then also in the summer near my birthday. And in a little box, you know what fell out of it? The little bracelet that little guy had on, the hospital bracelet. And I knew that it was in my baby book at some point, but how it landed in this little box, and I found it, and I said, you know, I'm going to carry that with me and bring that today. That's kind of priceless, that story and that memory. Miracles happening. Miracles happen, but what I've noticed with miracles, a surrendering must occur. We've got to be able to let go of something for something else to come in, and that's one of the hardest things to do. We often wait for a need to arrive. Yes? Think about that. A need arrives, and then what do? We go to prayer. We're praying for a miracle. We view it as something out of the ordinary, beyond natural law, where supernatural intervention comes in. Yet what happens is our intellect gets in the way and we start trying to figure out how to put this together. How are we going to do this? How are we going to manipulate divine order into happening so this miracle can occur? When I want to say that miracle is the norm. It's always occurring. It's always happening when we breathe into it and we accept that we are. Myrtle Fillmore knew this. She accepted this. She lived this and spoke about this in her everyday life. Miracles are the norm, not the exception. Miracles are not a perceived favor from God. One gets it, another one doesn't. This one did this, so this one gets it, and this one doesn't. Let that go. Miracles are a changed mind. What if we began to see ourselves as a miracle every day? When we woke up in the morning and we went, oh, I'm a miracle. I just took my breath, and now I'm going to enter this day knowing that I'm a miracle, and I'm meeting miracles all day long, and all of a sudden, they're everywhere. Do you think we might start manifesting more of the way we see things in the world? Janice is like, yeah, I think so. When we reach beyond and learn to go beyond the limits of our intellect that confines us, we grow in our ability to marvel in the moment-to-moment, everyday miracles of life. And I know fear can direct our intellect to produce a powerful energy, and we can remain stuck in that. But I believe everything is rooted in love. That's my belief system, if we look for it. A Course in Miracles. Anyone Course in Miracles, folks? Yeah? A Course in Miracles states that miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. God is love. Love is God. You are love. You come from love. Oneness. That is a miracle. My story continues. So 10 years after that little guy went home from the hospital at 6 weeks old, mom's recovering, we're at home. 10 years later, I was a sickly child for those first 10 years. Food allergies, a lot of pneumonia, a lot of anemia, a lot of things were always going on. So I knew hospitals very well, knew doctors very well. No fear, just kind of got used to it. And I had missed a little bit of school, and I was in class one particular day. It was my 10th year. And what I remembered is that the world was trying to teach me fear, that it was a scary place, but I knew something different. And it was kind of this balance. I kept saying, world's teaching me fear, but I knew something beautiful within me that was love and centered in love. When I was 10, I was in my classroom, and I'll never forget the visual. So we're in classroom, you all know what that looks like, and the teacher's called by the principal to the door, and the door cracks open and everyone looks, and I can see the teacher and the principal, and right through the crack there, I see my mom and dad. And they're talking, which is so unusual. I never saw my mom and dad outside the classroom. Never. And of course I'm looking, and of course everybody's looking, and the whispering starts, and then the teacher says, Douglas, it was Douglas then, Douglas, will you come out into the hallway? And of course, what does everybody do in the classroom? Ooh, you know. I'm like, I was a good kid. I knew I wasn't in trouble. I wasn't really worried, but it was unusual. And we proceeded down the hallway. They checked me out of school. We got in the car, and it was odd. You know those memories you have that we got in the back seat, no radio, no conversation. I see the back of their heads. I wasn't strapped in a seatbelt, by the way. I was probably sliding around the back seat having fun. Different time, right? But they were quiet, and I knew something was up. But again, I wasn't worried. I wasn't fearful. I wasn't scared, but something had happened, and I don't know what had happened. But we pulled into a hospital. We went into an exam room, and there was a doctor, a nurse, my parents, and I hopped up on the paper, you know, the crinkly paper, legs dangling, I remember it clearly. And they were over here focused on an x-ray. And they were talking about this x-ray, really intense, about me, but not with me. And I'm watching this occur. No fear, but knowing my dad's really questioning. My mom is visibly becoming nauseous. She's feeling ill. I know she's weak in the knees. And it's a big story. And then I remember one name that they said. And I heard the word Hodgkins. Now, I'm 10, don't know what that means, but I love Sherlock Holmes stuff. And I thought, Hodgkins? I don't know this Hodgkins person, but whatever's going on about him, I don't like him. I remember that so clearly. I'm like, I don't like him. Whoever he is, whatever this is about, I don't like him. It wasn't but a few days later, and we were entering the hospital, and I was going into surgery. And then there were more after that. And then a few years later, there were more. And life in my young years had a lot of that going on in it. Oh, by the way, I'm here. There's no old story with that. I'm here. Years later in my young life, and I'm into my 20s, later 20s, I realized everyone was making decisions and strategizing and reactionary approaches to things, and I wasn't always included in it. And I remember really becoming clear and centered, and I remember the words powerfully coming out of my mouth where I said, enough. It was a profound moment in my life. I would say that's another miracle. Even as a young boy, I didn't fully understand what prayer was about to the way I do now, and I know we're always growing and learning. But I knew the God of my understanding, I want you to hear this, the God of my understanding was not fear-based. It was not a needs request situation. It was not a manipulation story. Regardless of what I was heard or was even being taught at that time, I knew Jesus was a way shower, elder brother, teacher. That was really a connection I had. And the God of my understanding was pure love. Pure, centered, delightful, celebratory love. So all this other story was something I was just choosing again and again not to buy. One of the definitions for miracle is a wonder and a marvel. And maybe this is the place that Jesus operated from. Because if we think of the stories, miracles were his norm. Through the eyes of a child, we often hear, there is great wisdom. Written in Matthew and Luke, it states, truly I tell you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God as a little child will never enter it. This is repeated, Mark and Luke. And what we know in unity, if you haven't discovered this yet in unity, the kingdom is not far away. It's not out there. It's not waiting for the after party. The kingdom is where? Someone tell me. Right here, right now. And when we get that, we get the divine inheritance is right here, right now. And we can see the world through a child's eyes. While it may be simplistic, I like to go back and refer to him, this little guy, growing up in the stories and observing that story and realize that children see that flowers grow because they do. Don't really question it a whole lot. They do. The sky is incredibly blue. Beautiful color. The sun comes out each day, even though right now I wish it would chill just a little bit. Those are the very simplistic things. And that even there's a place over the rainbow. Now, while that may sound, some people may say Pollyanna or positive thinking, it is a child's view of the world. It's very simple. But you know what? We forget that. We get busy, we start strategizing, we start putting things together, and we forget the childlike wisdom that is powerfully true. We are healed because we are. Period. It begins with the renewal of our thoughts about what is norm and what is not. When we commit ourselves to spiritual practice, which I'll move to principle number 5, it's about application. It's about commitment and accountability. We can ask ourselves, do we operate from the reaction of fear or the root of love? I would say it's both sometimes. Yes? We bounce around there. Miracles happen. It's not the survival, it's the surrender. My great quest really began at age 32, really powerful. And I realized very quickly that it's very hard to do a spiritual quest while trying to intellectually figure it all out and put it on a spreadsheet. Kind of gave it up. Feel it. Feel into it. Tap into that beautiful space that's within you. And it's about not reacting from each occurrence, but being in the space of co-creating that space with God as a co-creator. Today's daily word mentioned Jacob, and I want to go to Genesis for a moment. In Genesis, our story, Jacob wrestles with God. Just when Jacob is physically exhausted, alone in the desert wilderness, facing his sure death, he let go because he's had enough. He's faced with the choice to go ahead and fight once more, as the story goes. I think we've all been there a time or two. But Jacob was in a time of spiritual surrendering, and he represents the unfoldment of the individual soul and this progression. The soul is progressive. Each time we're called forward to consider something, we consider where we are and we evolve and make that movement forward. If we don't, we remain stuck. It's always in a movement. Jacob is ultimately given a new name, and the name is Israel. That's where the power of the I am comes from. Say with me, I am. That's a claim. And when you say I am and you follow it with, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm worn out, guess what? You're claiming that. So I'd invite you to say, I am a miracle. I don't know that I really believe that. Are you? I am a miracle. We are co-creators every day. Myrtle Fillmore said, to the ego mind, surrendering sounds like giving up. But here's what's cool about what she said. She said, to the spiritual mind, surrender means giving in and receiving. Here we are together right now in our story, part of my story. And I want to say, if I were going through the miracles of my life, this is miracle number 2,449. No, 2,400. Who's counting? The divine purpose, the divine order, the divine appointment. We are all here right now. And you're all about to go into this next new miracle moment in the life of Unity on Greenville. It's a powerful time of discernment and claiming what is yours. The little boy here with all the life challenges went on a quest, and I know for sure that miracles happen. And today, as a minister and a coach and a teacher, I know what I'm clearly called to be in the world. And you hear me often say it. It's to remind people of their value, their worth, that they're sacred, that they matter, and that they're loved. And you've been reminded. Would you agree? Every time you hear me say that, you're reminded. So when you look around at each other, I want to invite you to say happy birthday at every moment possible, because it's always a new opportunity. And when you leave today, I brought you a gift. We're getting kind of used to that, aren't we? But it's a refrigerator magnet that says, I am a miracle. And I want you to put that on your refrigerator, and I want you to see it every day, and I want you to say it and claim it and know that about who you are. Because I see the awakening, I see the shift, I see the aliveness of this community. Here in the sanctuary, joining us online, we appreciate you. I won't see you till September now because we've moved schedules around, but I will see you soon. Happy birthday, everyone.
Wouldn't believe where I've been, the state of mind I was in, from Boston to Denver, in every town in between. People, they all are the same, oh, only the names have changed. Now that I'm home again, I'll tell you what I believe. It's a miracle, true blue spectacle, a miracle come true. Hey, I'm together, lady. I was going crazy till a miracle came through. Now I'm here with love all around me. You know there's dancing in the street for a miracle, a true blue spectacle. The miracle is you. Yeah, and it's you. I never knew love this good. Oh, I never even knew I could. I must have been crazy to ever have gone away. Hey, I almost forgot what it's like to be living in perfect light. Now that I'm home again, you know that I'm home to stay, 'cause I'm a miracle, true blue spectacle, a miracle come true. Oh, I'm together, lady, I was going crazy till a miracle came through. Now I'm here with love all around me. They'll be dancing in the street, yeah, for a miracle, true blue spectacle. The miracle is you. It's you, and a miracle is you. You're a miracle, true blue spectacle, a miracle come true. Oh, together, oh, don't you know that a miracle come true? And we're here with love all around us. They'll be dancing in the street, yeah. They'll be dancing in the street, dancing in the street, 'cause a miracle come true. For a miracle, true blue spectacle, the miracle is you. Yeah. I'm a miracle. Don't you know you're a miracle? The miracle is you.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, I'm glad Reverend Doug realizes he's a miracle, because I know that the first time that Sandra and I got off the virtual call with you, we were like, wow, why can't he just come help us? And a couple of weeks later, whew, there you were. You said, I think I might be able to help you guys. So for everything you guys have seen Reverend Doug do here, he does 10 times that much behind the scenes every day to keep me and Sandra straight, I know for sure. But we really do appreciate you, and we're glad you've been here. Unity on Greenville, we have a vision statement. It's on the screen. We'd really like to share that and claim that. So if you would, please say that with me on the screen. We see a world where every being lives in awareness of their sacred oneness and divine light. While we're moving into that next phase with our minister, we don't want to lose sight of our affirmation and how important it is to continue living this affirmation every day so that we can find that right and perfect minister. So would you speak with me on the screen? We welcome and affirm with love the perfect spiritual leader who embraces the truths of unity principles. If you haven't connected with us, I know we have a few guests here in the sanctuary with us today. There's some visitor packets outside. If you didn't get one, we'd like to have one for you so we can get to connect with you. But also you can connect online. There's a connect button. If you go to the Unity website, just click connect, and we'd love to hear from you and reach back out to you. Oh, looky there. Happy birthday, Reverend Doug. And we've got a happy birthday. We happen to have somebody who knows how to say that. Ready?
Happy birthday to you.
Got you.
You snuck that in.
Yes, we did.
I did not see that.
All right. Thank you. Now we've got our peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth I know it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. We got a creator, and I hate it all. Are we? Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, there is peace on earth, for this is a moment now. With every step I take, I make this my joyous vow. I take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and I know it begins in me.
Our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Amen.
Thank you all for
Happy
being
Sunday.
here today. Have a great week.
Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Sun, 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 here comes